In the course of making videos, I am going to occasionally refer to war room stories. The stories that I can tell that are standalone, not associated with a particular technical solution or analysis, I'll post in this playlist, but most of them are probably going to be included as part of discussions of particular topics. In case you're not familiar with it, you can probably easily intuit the kind of meaning that war room has. It's a room in IT where managers and technical people gather to solve a catastrophic problem, similar to the way that the president might meet with military people to make strategic decisions in a wartime environment. Examples of those might be e-commerce sites being down where a great deal of money is being lost by the unavailability of a website, travel booking sites being down, other sorts of internal businesses having processes unavailable to take orders or fulfill orders, or perhaps there's an email archiving system, always online, that is bringing 40,000 workers' desktop computers to a crawl because they cannot continue to work without it functioning. Very often, there are conference calls involved with the war room meetings. Typically, war rooms are populated around the clock until the problem is solved. There are around-the-clock calls with third-party technical support, and that technical support very often hands off from shift to shift their responsibility to others in their companies who are stationed in other parts of the world. Typically, we think of that as the technical support following the sun. The technical support is being provided by people during normal business hours for the technical support, whereas the people with the real problem, they may be there regardless of what the time of day is. Very often there will be third-party technical support on site as well, perhaps multiple vendors. There's another type of war room activity, different than that, where there is substantial planned maintenance implemented to upgrade a database or website. Things are going to be logged step by step. They're going to be monitored. At some point during the process, typically a decision will be made to go ahead and complete the process or roll back. I'll be talking about one where I arrived at a business at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. My shift was to go from 5 on Friday afternoon to 3 on Saturday afternoon. But the whole process was going to continue until late Sunday night. By 11 o'clock on Saturday night, they had to determine whether they were really going to complete it or they were going to roll back because they couldn't be sure they could complete it. Typically, a war room is just a room where people gather together for this purpose, which is hopefully not frequent. But you know a company has problems when you arrive on site and you see that in their IT center they have rooms named with plaques. War Room 1, War Room 2, War Room 3, and War Room 4. And posted on the wall is a schedule for each war room, what managers are responsible, even if there isn't yet a problem. And the schedule goes around the clock. This suggests something is wrong. Something that is very typical of war room situations, but not always true, is that there are more managers in the meetings than technical people. The managers are making the technical decisions. The managers are directing the troubleshooting, even though they lack current skills to do so. There's another time where you have a problem, very often exposes itself when there's a war room, is that it becomes apparent certain steps can be taken to proactively make these types of things less likely to happen in the future, and the company is not interested. Even the IT people are. The only reason I can figure that this is because if I don't have a crisis today, I have to decide what I'm going to do. I have to prioritize tasks. I have to see what problems might exist and proactively solve them. Whereas, if I go to work and my day is dictated by the disaster du jour, I really have many fewer decisions to make in some regard. And you would be very surprised at the organizations that I have seen that adopt this attitude. The thing that makes it so clear that that's what's going on is when you see a fantastically organized, well-run organization which doesn't have named war rooms, that very seldom has war room meetings at all, where their employees do not get called to solve emergencies in the middle of the night. These places exist. Some of them are large places, and I hope to describe some of them as well. They are realistic goals. When you then see people who are not interested in having that type of environment, you're seeing people who do not have the ability to plan what they want to do, and they want life to drag them along. So I will be telling stories about these places, and most of them will be embedded in discussions elsewhere, but I may put some of them here as well.